Well, Everton 3, Newcastle United 1. Let's just go home. We'll not even bother with next season. Let's just pack up, go home. We'll start again in a year's time, because where do we go from here? This is where I want to start, guys. I want to ask you, what are your expectations going into next season? Are you expecting a relegation fight? Do you reckon we'll creep in the top half? Do you reckon we can creep in the European fixtures based off what you've seen? Now, I want to bring a little bit of context to everything. I think context matters. I think we're going into our second pre-season game under this manager. We've only had 4 pre-season games. Everton have now had 6. Today, they played their strongest 11 pretty much. They know their structure, their build-up, and they're getting ready for next season. We're not ready yet, and that is worrying a little bit. Now, I think we'll take a lot from this game, and I think it's important we had this type of game now. We can now take a step back and think, yeah, we need to get a move on. I want to see at least 5 signings, at least from now to the end of the window, or even before that Liverpool game. I think first I thought, Isla wanted to give everybody a chance, give them an opportunity to prove themselves, but we haven't got time. We haven't got time to give people an opportunity to prove themselves. We've got to make 4 or 5 signings from now till before the Liverpool game, in my opinion. But experienced signings. I think we need another right back. I think we need another left back. I think we need another centre back. I think we need another midfielder. I think we need another right winger. And I possibly could do another creative player, because we didn't create enough today. And again, I'm not too bothered about the results. I've said this before in friendlies. Even when we win friendlies, I'm like, not really bothered about the results. It's all about the chemistry of the team, building those relationships on the pitch, getting the fitness levels in, getting your distances right, understand the game, getting your match sharpness. That's what friendlies are all about. So results, I wouldn't care if we got beat 5-0, even if we played well. So the result doesn't really bother us. 3-1 Everton, have your time, have your day. It's all about the fitness levels, building those connections, and players looking bright and ready and sharp, ready for the first game of the season, because our first game is in a week's time. This weekend, 1 more week, and we've got Liverpool at home. That's a massive game. So this weekend, we've got Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday, Strasbourg on Sunday, and I actually think we could do with just playing 1 friendly this weekend. And the reason being is, I think Matthias Isla needs to get his strongest 11 on the pitch. He needs to see them before that Liverpool game. Just think about that second half today. Again, adding context to it. Our full back 4 was full of youngsters, players that never even stepped foot in senior football last season, whereas Everton had every one of their players were senior players. So they were obviously going to win the game. And it looked like Everton were ready to win the game. We weren't ready to win the game. So for us, it was more about fitness levels. But again, I just need to see a little bit sharpness. I thought we were sloppy in possession at times. I thought we were actually good up until Everton scored. Once Everton scored, we went a little bit downhill. So let's talk about the game itself. So this is how we lined up. Leo Sahar right back. We had Hornacek in there. Malik Chow, Sven Botman, our strongest partnership at centre-back. Lewis Hall at left-back was back in after injury. Bamba Joelinton in the double pivot. We had Toure on the left-hand side, and I thought he was our best player. William Asulan, the number 10, but he was switching with Johan Wissa. It was more of a duo striker partnership. It was more of a 4-4-2 than anything, but it was a hybrid between that 2-3-1, a 4-4-2. Anthony Elanga on the right-hand side. Now, I actually thought the opening, let's say, they scored in the 27th minute. The opening 20 minutes, it was quite even. We looked a little bit threatening. Toure was getting on the ball. He was going past his man. He was being a threat on that left-hand side. He was connecting with Lewis Hall quite well. And I actually think their partnership, once they get that relationship and start playing together more frequently, their partnership could be quite devastating. It could be a real weapon for Newcastle United next season. But you could tell there was a little bit of rustiness with Lewis Hall, if I'm being honest. Just his touches, normally they're a little bit crisp, a little bit more sharper, but he was just a little bit loose with his touches. He worked hard off the ball. He got back, defended well, got into the final third, was trying to make things happen. But it was just that sharpness in his touch, and that's what pre-season's about. I thought Joelinton did okay at times in terms of the tactical side of the game. I think he understood his position, and he understood the role he was given in this game, where it was be a little bit more disciplined, defend transitions. When you get on the ball, try and move it in the final third quickly. That was his role and responsibility. I think Bamba, I actually didn't mind Bamba against Valencia, but I thought today he looked a little bit off it. I thought he was a bit passive in and out of possession. So he needs to sharpen up his game a little bit more. I thought Anthony Elanga looked a little bit more comfortable in possession than what he normally does. Normally his touch is dead heavy and everything's dead quick. But today he had a little bit more composure about him. He was trying to get his foot on the ball and trying to pick out a pass rather than trying to rush everything, make everything 100 miles an hour. Leo Sahar, he's not ready yet. This is why we desperately need to bring in a right back. Now, I've been thinking about it. I think we need a right back and a left back, and I'll tell you why. Because if Tino Livramento gets injured, he gets injured. He's out for months. It's not just a couple of weeks. When he gets injured, it's a couple of months. Now, imagine if somebody like Lewis Hall got injured at the same time. That means we've got to play Sahart right back, unless we play Lewis Miley there, and play Didac, if we sign him at left back. That won't be good enough in the Premier League. So we need to bring in a left back and a right back, in my opinion, but we also need a centre back. We're going to break down the goals. We'll break down the game. We'll break it all down. And I'll tell you where we could do a little bit better in certain situations. But I just wanted to look at that because we did change. We're pretty much starting 11 at half time. So we'll kind of change it into 2. So we'll look at the data. And in the first half, we're next to 0.55, which isn't great, but we're still in that learning trajectory under Matthias Jaisler. 5 shots, 4 shots on target, 15 touches in the opposition box to Everton 16. We created 4 big chances in that first half. We just couldn't put anything away. And again, William Masula should have passed Traore, and probably Everton don't score their goals. What I liked about the performance in the first half, we looked a little bit more comfortable in possession. We're trying to go down the central areas, not just always going out wide and putting crosses in. But what I didn't like about the first half, the distances between the front line, the midfield, and the back. I thought we're too sporadic. There was too much gaps for the Everton to get into, and they had too much time and space on the ball. They were much fitter and sharper than us. They were picking up every first ball, picking up every second ball. So we were really only creating our opportunities when we had a throw and we were able to get the ball down and play a little bit. And I just don't think our rhythm's there yet. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people say wingers should be unpredictable. There shouldn't be unpredictable wingers in the world. You know what they're going to do. Ian Robin, always going to cut in on his left foot, put in the top corner. Mohamed Salah's always going to cut in on his left foot, put in the top corner. David Beckham's always going to get the ball out with his feet, send a delivery. That means your striker knows what you're going to do. So once your striker knows what you can do, you can build up that partnership because he's going to anticipate what you're going to do. And what I felt like on that pitch today, we didn't really understand what each other were going to do. So we're kind of gambling on what certain players were going to do. And that makes us go to this here because William Masula should know that Toure is going on the outside here, but he hasn't got the awareness to do it. Now he takes an extra touch, and this is where he should have played the pass, but he tried to be a little bit too selfish, which I don't mind. But when we're trying to build that momentum in pre-season games, we really need to start winning games. So he should just be playing a little 5-yard ball into Toure to get a shot off. If he does that, it's a different game, and Everton don't score their next chance because it gets rebounded out. Johan Wissa has a strike, which gets blocked. The Everton centre-back clears it. Now, this is where I worry a little bit. I don't think we're good enough defensively. I think we conceded too many goals last season. We still haven't brought a centre-back in. I've been saying in my videos throughout the summer, we need a centre-back. We need a centre-back. Yes, we've got Fabian Shaw to come back, but he's old now, man. Do you know what I mean? He's lost half that yard of pace. So is Dan Burn. Dan Burn is only good in a low block. Matthias Jaisler doesn't want to play that low block. That's why he was good for England in that role he played at the World Cup. Because every time he stepped on the pitch, England were on the back foot and sitting in a low block. When we've got to play a high line, Dan Burn will get caught out. So we need more depth in that centre-back position, in my opinion. And I like Dan Burn, but that's a reality. Now, what I didn't like about this goal is Malik Chow in this situation. Now, there's a lot of times we could have cleared the ball in this situation. But my worry about Malik Chow here, he doesn't even worry about winning the ball. The only thing he's worried about is Barry. Now, I wish I could show you the video from this angle because all he's doing, he's not even judging the flight of the ball. He's watching where Barry is. Now, if you're concentrating on your striker, you're not anticipating on going to attack the ball. Malik Chow doesn't even try to attack the ball there. He's worried about getting clattered off Barry, which isn't good enough. You've got to be a little bit stronger. Yes, you might get hurt a little bit, but you're a centre-back for a reason. And that reason is because you might get clattered once or twice off a clumsy centre-forward. So you've got to be a little bit stronger here, in my opinion. But what do you get told? It's Sunday League level. Don't let the ball bounce. You get told that at Sunday League level. So Sven Botman has got to be anticipating that Malik Chow won't win that ball. And he's got to be ready to win that second ball. What's he do? He gets caught flat-footed. Barry nicks in. Lewis Hall gets back, clears a ball, makes another second tackle. And then my third concern about this, where's the midfielders? There's nobody rushing back. I know it's just a pre-season game, but this way you get your fitness levels. This way you get your match sharpness. being a little bit aggressive off the ball, getting back into position when you need to get back into position. Because if you don't do it now, it won't come during the game during the season. And then the fourth error is when your two centre-backs get caught ball watching. Oh my days. Barry had all the time in the world. He could have literally poured himself a pint of brown ale and sat there and drank it while reading the newspaper, eating fish and chips on the beach, because he's got all the time in the world just to open up his body, pick out the bottom corner with a left foot finish. Your two centre-backs are caught ball watching. And I thought Everton were actually quite good today. And I thought we were quite poor, to be honest. But I'm not really bothered about the results. It's more about getting that chemistry, those relationships on the football pitch. Now, we did make 10 changes at half-time. And it's funny because we look more composed when Sean Stur's on the pitch. Sean Stur has to start for me. He's the one that brings that progressiveness that Matthias Jaisler is looking for, but he also brings that composure in the middle of the pitch, which is exactly what we're looking for. Joe Linton hasn't got the technical ability or the awareness to bring that composure. Bamba's a little bit too passive for my liking at the minute. Needs to speed up his play, and once you can only do that by building those relationships and understanding your role. I feel like he doesn't understand his role right now, but Sean Stur just gets it. He's our best midfielder, and he's just come to the football club, and he's 18 years old. He has to be playing for me. And I wouldn't mind seeing him and Lewis Miley in that double pivot. I think once Lewis Miley comes back into that midfield, we'll look a little bit more assertive. But again, we can't be relying on one player, and this is why we do need a midfielder. To talk about the second half is hard, because I think you just want to get minutes in players' legs in terms of the youngsters. And we had 4 youngsters playing as defenders. Like, we weren't going to be great in that second half. And if you look at the second half, had next year of 0.74, that can't be right. It says we had 7 shots in the second half, but when I go on the total shots, it says we had 6. How can we have 6 total shots and 7 shots in one half? Doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. So I don't think that's right. I think we only had 2 shots in the second half, to be honest. And it's hard to talk about the game in that second half because those players aren't going to be starting. But one thing I will say, so I don't want to just bore you by going through the second half. I just don't think we're good enough in that second half, and I don't think the quality of players are good enough. I think we should be looking to move on Jacob Murphy, Joe Willock. We need to bring in more creative flair players, in my opinion. We need another right winger, somebody that'll get on the ball and go past somebody, because Harvey Barnes doesn't give you that. Jacob Murphy doesn't give you that. So when you've got those two on the wings, you've got no outlet. So it's really hard to break down that second half because, look, we didn't have players on the pitch that are going to start against Liverpool. So it's hard to be too overcritical. But I want to end by saying this. I think that game, what happened in that game, and just the way that game developed and how we conceded so sloppily will tell Matthias Jaisler a lot. And I think it's now when Ross Wilson, David Hopkinson step up and give Matthias Jaisler what he needs to really hit the ground running in this season. So guys, I'm going to end it there. I might break it down a little bit more in tomorrow's video, but I just thought, look, it is what it is. We're second game with Matthias Jaisler, so we can't be too overcritical on the tactics, the manager. It's more about the attitude and the quality of the players that I'm worried about. Let me know your thoughts in the below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all watching every single video because I know you do. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your night.